So let's learn what we call some different pairs of numbers. All right, so let's see if you know. You think in your head while I go over them. So 5 and -5. What kind of numbers are those? Notice one's positive, one's negative. Those numbers are opposites. How about 7 6 and 6 7s? Well, notice one has a 7 in the numerator and a 6 in the denominator, and the other one, it's flipped. It has a 6 in the numerator and a 7 in the denominator. We call those reciprocals. How about 1/3 and 3? Well, we could write 3 as 3 over 1. That looks like 3t, doesn't it? Maybe I could write it as 3 over 1. Well, you'll have to take that. So notice they're flipped from one another. They're reciprocals. 11/5 and -5/11. Well, they have different signs, like the opposites, but they're flipped, like the reciprocals. They're negative reciprocals. We could say opposite reciprocals, right? But usually we don't say opposite reciprocals when we're dealing with reciprocals with different signs. We just call them negative reciprocals. Right? It's just terminology. Right? Some reason we call 5 and -5 opposites rather than negatives, because that makes them sound like they're negative numbers, but only one of them is a negative, so we call it opposite. But negative reciprocals is understood that one's positive, one's negative, and they're flipped. How about -11 and 11? Well, they're like the 5 and the -5. One's positive, one's negative. They're opposites. How about the -4 and the 1/4? Right, so remember, we could write this as -4 over 1. They have different signs, and they're flipped. They're negative reciprocals. How about 1 and -1? Well, you might say those are opposites. And you'd be right. But I could also write it 1 over 1 and 1 over 1. Well, now if I flip a 1 and a 1, right, I get a 1 and a 1. So not only are they opposites, they're negative reciprocals. So these two can be considered both, right? Because I can write 1 as a fraction, 1 over 1, and I can write -1 as a fraction, -1 over 1. And if I flip it, I still have 1 over 1. Right? So we have numbers here that are opposites, that are reciprocals, and that are negative reciprocals. And so negative reciprocals and opposite reciprocals mean the same thing. So if in your head you were thinking opposite reciprocals instead of negative reciprocals, well, you were right all along. Right? So in the next podcast, we're going to be looking at what are we going to do with these reciprocals and these negative reciprocals and these opposites. And actually, we're only going to be working with the negative reciprocals. But let's see, I want you to answer some questions and see if you can figure out which numbers are negative reciprocals. Right? Bye for now.